of 2026, one of the most famous businessmen in North America walked onto the most watched cable network in America and told millions of people that 2 regular citizens in Utah were secret agents for the Chinese Communist Party. He called it an irrefutable act. He said he'd handed evidence to law enforcement. He named names, 5 appearances, 3 weeks, same accusation, over and over again. And then 6 weeks later, after the lawyers showed up, he admitted he had no evidence. None. The network issued corrections, and Anchor apologized on air. From irrefutable fact to no evidence whatsoever. In about a month and a half, even by Shark Tank valuation standards, that is a brutal markdown. This is the story of Kevin O'Leary, Mr. Wonderful, a nickname, by the way, that he reportedly gave himself. And it's not the first time being Kevin O'Leary has cost other people everything. Let's start with the fire that's burning right now. Kevin O'Leary wants to build a data center, and not a small one. We're talking about a 7.5 gigawatt facility, 40,000 acres in Box Elder County, Utah, a project called Stratos. He became its face and its voice. Enter 2 people from Utah. Josh Cantor, founder of a nonprofit called the Alliance for a Better Utah, and Gabby Finlayson, a political strategist who runs a firm called Elevate Strategies. Their crime? They raised concerns. Boring, normal, city council meeting concerns, water use, power demands, local control, the stuff people are supposed to say when a company wants to pave 40,000 acres next door. So how did Kevin O'Leary respond to a couple of locals asking questions? He went on Fox's morning show with Maria and, according to the Deseret News, called them out by name. He asked, quote, "Who's paying you?" He called them proxies for the Chinese government. He said, and I'm quoting the lawsuit here, they were 2 cells inside of Utah. But here's the part that should scare you. When you go on national television and tell millions of people that a nonprofit founder in Salt Lake City is a foreign enemy agent, those millions of people hear you. According to the complaint reported in the mainstream media, the 2 plaintiffs say what followed was online harassment, conspiracy theories, and threat to their physical safety. Finlayson said it plainly in a statement to the press. She spent years building her reputation and her business, and in her words, in just weeks, it was torn down with lies. So on July 15th, 2026, they did the American thing. They lawyered up. They sued him, and they sued Fox News right alongside of him. The lawsuit alleges Fox was instrumental, putting him on air to attack them 5 times in 3 weeks. And then Kevin blinked. But here's the twist that makes the whole thing interesting. Before the lawsuit even landed, O'Leary had already quietly posted a statement on Instagram. And in it, he admitted he has no evidence that any of these people are funded by China or the CCP. The plaintiff's law firm says he only did that after he got a legal demand letter. Fox says it corrected the record on every program and will vigorously defend. O'Leary's camp says the plaintiffs were offered dialogue and chose a courtroom instead. To which the only sane response is, buddy, you told the entire country they were enemy agents of a hostile foreign power. The courtroom is the dialogue now. To understand how we got here, you have to go back to the toys. Every superhero has an origin story. Kevin O'Leary's is the deal that made him rich. What they don't tell you is that it's also one of the most catastrophic acquisitions in corporate history. Here's the short version. O'Leary built a software company, went on an aggressive acquisition spree in the 90s, and rebranded the whole thing as The Learning Company. Then, in 1999, he sold it to Mattel, the toy giant, in a deal valued around $4 billion. For Kevin O'Leary, it was a spectacular exit. For Mattel, it was a bloodbath. The division started hemorrhaging money almost immediately. One quarter, Mattel expected $50 million in profit. Instead, a $105 million loss. More than $2 billion in shareholder value was wiped out in a single day. So what happened to Kevin? O'Leary was fired within 6 months, 6 months into a 3-year contract. 4 months after that, Mattel's own CEO was pushed out too. In 2000, Mattel dumped the learning company for a reported $27 million and a share of future profits, a fraction of what they paid. Shareholders sued. Kevin was accused of being a part of a scheme to obscure the company's real financial condition. Business Week later labeled it one of the worst deals of all time. So the foundational myth, self-made business genius, is technically true. It happened. He got rich. It's just that the people on the other side of the deal got completely torched. Remember that pattern. He does great, the other guy pays for it, and we're gonna see that again and again. Because in 2017, Kevin O'Leary decided he should run an entire country. He entered the race to lead Canada's Conservative Party, a stepping stone to Prime Minister. 2 small problems. 1, he was living primarily in Boston, and 2, he didn't speak French, which, in Canadian politics, it's like running for the Pope without being Catholic. He dropped out before the vote, citing a lack of support in Quebec. Canada, to its credit, didn't chase him out with pitchforks. They just looked at the pitch and passed. But the most expensive endorsement of his life was still coming. 2021, crypto is exploding, and a company called FTX, run by a curly-haired 29-year-old named Sam Bankman-Fried, is throwing money at every celebrity it can find: Tom Brady, Larry David, and Mr. Wonderful. According to O'Leary's own Senate testimony, FTX paid him roughly $15 million to be a paid spokesman, plus another $3 million to cover the taxes on it. You already know how this ends, but watch how he lands. In November 2022, FTX collapsed into one of the largest frauds in modern history. Billions in customer money gone. Bankman-Fried arrested, later convicted. And Kevin O'Leary, he didn't just stay quiet and hope everyone forgot. Even after the collapse, he went on CNBC and called Bankman-Fried a good person and a great trader. Then he had to sit in front of the US Senate committee and explain himself. His defense? Essentially, I lost my own money too. He testified he'd written the whole investment down to zero. And look, this might be true, but sit with the picture for a second. Mr. Wonderful, the guy whose entire brand is being the smartest, most ruthless money mind in the room, the man who tells small business owners on TV that they're dead to me, endorsed the crypto Titanic after touring the engine room and took $15 million to do it. Even Robert Kiyosaki, the rich dad, poor dad guy, tweeted the lesson out loud. Your reputation is worth more than money. Which brings us to the part of this story that isn't funny at all. August 24th, 2019, Lake Joseph in Ontario, Muskoka's cottage country, just before 11:30 at night. A boat owned by the O'Learys is heading home from a dinner party. Linda O'Leary is at the helm, Kevin the passenger. Out on the open water, another boat is anchored. A group of people are on it, stargazing. The 2 vessels collide. Gary Paltash, a 64-year-old from Florida, killed instantly. Susanna Burrito, 48, a mother of 3 from Uxbridge, Ontario, died in the hospital days later. 3 other people were injured. Now I'm gonna be extremely careful right here, because the facts matter and because 2 families are still living with this. Linda O'Leary was charged with careless operation of a vessel, and in 2021, she was acquitted, found not guilty. That verdict stands. The judge found the anchored boat's navigation lights were off. The security video from cottages made that clear, rendering it essentially invisible on a moonless night. The driver of the other boat later pleaded guilty to a lighting offense. Legally, Linda O'Leary was cleared, full stop. But the trial surfaced details that are hard to unhear. A breath test administered after the crash put Linda O'Leary in what an officer called the alert range for blood alcohol. Her explanation reported in unsealed warrant documents: she'd had a vodka drink after the collision to calm her nerves, and told police she couldn't remember who handed it to her. Her lawyer maintained the crash had nothing to do with alcohol. And Kevin, testifying at his wife's trial, he said he couldn't recall whether she'd been drinking beforehand. His very first public statement, days after 2 people died, emphasized that the other boat had no lights and fled the scene, and that he was cooperating with investigation. He was legally within his rights to say all of that. The acquittal was real. But notice the instinct on display. The very first move. Point at the other guy. Establish it wasn't your fault. Get ahead of the story. Because that instinct, that's a constant throughout the entire video. So let's put it all on the table. The Mattel windfall, the abandoned run at running a county, the $15 million FTX paycheck, the lake, and now Utah. Here's what unites every single one of them. Kevin O'Leary says whatever's maximally useful to Kevin O'Leary in the moment, with total, unshakable conviction, unless other people absorb the downside. That confidence never wavers. Accountability never quite arrives. When it goes wrong, there's a reaction, a settlement, a clarification, a shrug, and he's back on television by Thursday. The Utah case is just the purest version yet. A man wants to build something. Locals raise concerns, and instead of answering the concerns, he goes on the biggest network in America and brands them with agents of hostile foreign power. Irrefutable fact, and only walks it back when people with subpoena power enter the chat. Here's the difference this time. Mattel shareholders sued and mostly faded into history. Canada just quietly passed on him. FTX ended with a Senate shrug. The lake ended with an acquittal. But Joe Cantor and Gabby Finlayson aren't going anywhere. They're seeking punitive damages, the kind specifically designed, in their lawyers' words, to punish and to deter. And they've named Fox News right alongside of him. For 30 years, the pattern has held. Kevin O'Leary wins and someone else pays the bill. The question this entire video has been building to is simple. Is this finally the deal that Mr. Wonderful has to pay for himself? The case is ongoing. He denies wrongdoing, and we'll be watching.